question we can see that there's a circuit diagram, and the circuit diagram shows two resistors R1 and R2 which are in parallel, and we're also told in the question that the value of each of these resistors is 20 ohms. So we have a 20 ohm resistor here as R1 and another 20 ohm resistor here as R2. And we're then given four statements, and we're asked to select the one statement, and it must only be one statement which is true. So what's happening here is that three of these statements are false. The one statement which is true is the one that we need to select. And although there are some numbers involved here, it isn't in fact a calculation. What we're actually being asked about is to explain what happens to the overall resistance if two resistors are connected in parallel. So the first option here is that it will be zero. Now what will happen if we have two resistors in parallel here? The current can either flow through one or it can flow through the other. In fact, what will happen is that some will flow through each, but there will be some resistance. So the first statement is wrong. It will be less than 20 ohms but more than zero. So each of these are 20 ohms. So what the second statement suggests then is that if you put resistors in parallel, it reduces the overall value. So the combined value is less than the individual value. Now that's perfectly true. If they were in series, it wouldn't be true. The combined resistance would be greater, but because they're in parallel, the combined resistance is less. So it will be less than 20 ohms, but it's going to be more than zero. So it looks as if the second one is good. Let's just check the other two though. It will be 20 ohms is not true, because when resistors are connected in parallel, their combined value is less than the value of the individual resistors. It will be more than 20 ohms. No, that's not true either. It would be true if they were connected in series, but they're connected in parallel. So the statement that's true is this one here. The combined value will be less than 20 ohms but more than zero.